today's menu, a big question for us. Do leaders influence ethical behavior in the workplace? Consider the Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal. Imagine you're employed as an engineer at Volkswagen. The company has just launched a new line of eco-friendly cars, a big improvement for reducing emissions. But one day you find out that your team has been instructed to install software that manipulates emissions testing. Your leaders would like to cheat the system to meet environmental standards on paper, even though the new cars actually produce higher emissions. Now you face a huge ethical dilemma. Do you speak up and risk your job, or do you follow along thinking everyone in the industry does it, or maybe I'm just following orders? Today we are going to explore whether leaders can truly shape their team's ethical choices by looking at two studies, one using a survey and the other a lab experiment. Let's start with the survey study by Antunes and colleagues, published in the Journal of Business Ethics in 2024. This research surveyed 175 participants working in multinational corporations as leaders or employees across 13 countries over 2 time periods. Now, researchers look at the 4 key factors that can influence employees' unethical behaviors. First of all, ethical leadership. That is the main independent variable, and is defined as the responsibility of the executives to lead the ethical behavior of the company. Now, the authors hypothesize that the relationship between ethical leadership and employees' unethical behavior could be influenced by 2 mediator variables. First, the ethical climate, which is the shared perception of what's right and wrong at work. And second, very important, the displacement of responsibility, where basically employees shift blame to their leaders to justify their own unethical choices. There's also a potential moderator variable, that is the corruption environment, that is defined as the abuse of entrusted power for private gain, which may be perceived differently across cultures, and here we have 13 countries, so this can be different. Now, the researchers used online questionnaires and participants answered a series of questions about key behaviors on a 5-point scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Just as an example, displacement of responsibility was assessed with questions like people cannot be blamed for misbehaving if they are pressured into it, or no one should be blamed for using rude language if everyone else is doing it too. Would you agree or disagree with statements like this? Now the findings. They reveal that ethical leadership did seems to influence employees to behave ethically by shaping a positive ethical climate and reducing displacement of responsibility. This result acts equivalently across all the countries surveyed, suggesting a universal theory for its effectiveness. However, because the study is based on survey responses, it only shows correlation, not causation. It can show that the leader's behavior directly caused employees to act more ethically. This is where Study 2 comes into play. Study 2 used an experimental approach. It's a study by Dada and colleagues, published in 2017 in the Journal of European Economic Association. Now here, participants were randomly grouped into lab-simulated firms. Each consisted of one leader and 3 workers, and these roles were randomly assigned. Now in each round, the workers privately rolled a die to determine their performance score, and then reported this score to their leader. However, workers could lie about their true score and report a higher number to increase their own earnings, but this would have harmed other teams in the competition. Now, the experiment used a 2-by-2 between subject design, where the leader had 2 ways to influence workers. First, via public statement, either encouraging honest reporting or instead pushing workers to cheat. Second, leaders could reward workers with extra bonuses based on their reported performance scores, giving them a financial incentive to be honest or dishonest. And this is called the leader's incentive power. Now here a total of 320 participants were recruited and invited to the lab. Now the main results. First, when leaders encouraged honesty in their statements, workers indeed reported their scores more truthfully. Second, leaders who rewarded high scores, regardless of honesty, saw more dishonest behavior among workers. Workers were more likely to inflate their reported scores when financial incentives were tied to performance rather than honesty. Now, this experimental setup showed a cause and effect relationship between leaders' behavior and workers' ethical choices. Leaders who promoted unethical behavior directly caused a shift towards dishonesty among their workers. In summary, we have explored 2 studies with very different methodologies, each bringing its own strengths and limitations. It's our own responsibility as researchers and data analysts to understand the limits of our data and our methodologies, and also suggest ways to overcome these challenges, helping future research to add even a small yet valuable piece to the vast puzzle of research on ethical leadership.